I'm back in Cincinnati, and I've been saying it for years. Cincinnati is very underrated. Just hear me out. So yeah, as most of you know, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and growing up here, like a lot of people, you kind of hate it in the Midwest in general. But that all started to change when my brother took me on a road trip out west when I was about 15. And when I came back, it kind of shifted my perspective on Cincinnati. And the more I traveled and the more I came back to visit, it made me really appreciate what Cincinnati has to offer and the things that it does right. And let me just clarify, I'm not saying Cincinnati is better than Denver or any other city. I have spoken about my dislike of Denver in the past, but I could just as easily critique Cincinnati. Every place has its pros and cons, that's just life. This video, I wanted to talk about the things that I appreciate about Cincinnati and things that I feel like are hard to find elsewhere. For me, that comes down to three things. That is history, art, and community. So let's break it down. So Cincinnati is a pretty old city for American standards, at least. With that comes a lot of history. Prohibition era, we have speakeasies all across the city that you can still tour or have been converted into beautiful restaurants and bars. There's a huge hub for the Underground Railroad. The second largest Oktoberfest in the world is in Cincinnati. Random fact. The Findlay Market is one of the oldest markets in the States. But out of all of this history, my favorite aspect is the architecture. These buildings tell a story, from old firehouses turned into bars to cobblestone alleys to Victorian homes. This city has character you can see and feel. Though it's a small city, certain neighborhoods really do feel like a mini Chicago or even New York. I personally have always compared Cincinnati to San Francisco because of the rich architecture and the wild hills. It gives it that same kind of charm. The next thing I love about Cincinnati, and I feel like it's a very overlooked thing, is the fact that Cincinnati is a super artistic city. I mean, just on the street alone, there's 3 incredibly dope murals. We also have multiple music festivals like in the city. Now, obviously tons of murals, as you can see, and it's cool because compared to some of these other like big cities, they'll get a lot of international artists, muralists to come and paint these murals. A lot of Cincinnati murals are done by local artists, which is super cool and something I respect. Now, another aspect of this artistic city I love is the graffiti scene. Now, back in the day, it did have a very prominent graffiti scene. I don't know how prominent it is nowadays, but back in the day, we used to host this festival called Scribble Jam. It was a hip-hop graffiti festival. Invite hip-hop artists, there'd be break dancers, and they would invite well-known graffiti artists from all around the country, sometimes even the world, to come paint this one area down by the river. And my brother actually took me to the very last Scribble Jam when I was like 14 years old, and it was just awe-inspiring walking around, seeing all these like well-known graffiti artists just paint for like 3 days. And yeah, it was crazy. They tried to bring back the festival like 10 years ago. I don't know what happened. Such a cool concept for a festival. I think there should be more stuff like that. But there still is some graffiti going on nowadays. This is one of the first spots that I went to as a kid. I always come back and love to appreciate the art being done. I need to jump this gap for old time's sake, because sometimes there's a bunch of water or something, it's flooded, mossy, algae. You gotta jump the gap. And I don't know how big it looks in this video. Maybe it doesn't look that crazy. Decent sized gap. Still got it. Kind of hurt my lower back. Now we gotta get back over. Yes, you better believe there's been many a people who have slipped on some algae or something and gone right into that poo-poo water. Graffiti is the perfect little segue into the third reason aspect that I love about Cincinnati, and that is just the overall community in this city. You have all these different neighborhoods with a bunch of them having like a little main street, creating this little pockets of local life and the seemingly endless amount of parks all over the city. Cincinnati has some super cool parks. Some of them are big. Everyone's there on the weekends or a nice beautiful day. Some of them you find these little like pocket parks throughout these little neighborhoods. Something that you might find in like San Francisco. It just creates this little space of community. It brings people out and it gets people together, and it creates this awesome sense of community all over the city, and every different neighborhood has its own little niche communities. And don't even get me started on the local eats like Skyline Chili. I understand outsiders hate it, but I love it. And some of the best ice cream in the world. Like there's no better feeling than mobbing around the city on bikes with your homies all day on a summer day, stopping at a UDF or Grader's and getting some ice cream right at sunset. Like it really is a magical feeling. Coming back to Cincinnati now, at this point in my life, I really feel like it feels like the movie Sandlot. And I think that's a perfect movie example, like Hollywood movie example of like America core, like America nostalgia, baseball movie. They're running around the neighborhood. They're going to the carnival. Like we got Kings Island. You have all these neighborhoods where all these kids are just running around to these different parks, getting into shenanigans. Yeah, it brings a lot of joy. Just take a look at a neighborhood like Marymount. This neighborhood is, in my eyes, it's like the perfect depiction of a Hollywood standard for like the iconic American neighborhood. It's just this adorable little square. You even got a movie theater down there, little restaurants, adorable restaurants, galleries. Sure, a neighborhood like this might scream a little money, but you know what I'm saying. Like this, like growing up in this neighborhood would be dope. And even just exploring it, hanging out here is also dope. Of course, there's positives and negatives to every place. I have a lot of friends and family here in Cincinnati, so that was a big reason why I ended up moving back this year. But let me know, are there aspects of Cincinnati that you enjoy or aspects that you don't like? Let me know in the comments. I'm actually very interested to hear, because I know a lot of people coming back from traveling to 15 countries, living in a couple cool spots, people's reaction to me moving back to Ohio is like, why are you here? So let me know your thoughts. Peace.